My special guest is Simon Flowers, the chairman of Wood Mackenzie. Simon, thank you very much indeed for joining me from Scotland. It's great to speak with you.
Thanks for inviting me, Rebecca. It's great to be with you.
Simon, when it comes to the growing global need for climate action and energy security, how are Wood Mackenzie responding or indeed pivoting to that?
Thanks for the question. We provide research and consulting to energy and natural resources industries. Over the last 10 years, since the Paris Agreement in 2016, we've built out our capabilities in power and renewables, including our energy transition team that covers emerging low-carbon technologies such as hydrogen and carbon capture and storage. We have our metals and mining offering, which covers all of the transition metals from copper to battery raw materials. And we've strengthened our upstream and carbon management practices. I think we're the only research and consulting provider where companies can find a one-stop shop for capital allocation across the energy transition, whether it's to help them reduce emissions, invest in low-carbon technologies, or in the low-cost, low-transmissions oil and gas supply the world is going to need to ensure energy security. We're going to continue to invest in our business to help our customers navigate the transition.
Simon, let's look at energy, climate, finance and investment access. What are the challenges that are currently presenting themselves, and how and when do you believe they might be remedied?
I narrow it down to two things: financing the oil and gas we still need for energy security, and financing investment in the low-carbon economy. First, financing oil and gas is still difficult because of ESG concerns. A lot of banks and institutional investors won't finance oil and gas projects, so the pool of investment has narrowed. A lot of the lifting is left to big oil, the majors and NOCs that have the balance sheet and the cash flow. The wider industry has to do a better job with all stakeholders to get the message across that A, the world needs oil and gas for the time being, B, that it's affordable compared with some alternatives, and C, that it's doing all it can to cut emissions. The second point is that investment in low carbon is not increasing at the rate it needs to get the world onto a 2 degree centigrade pathway or lower. Finance is available, at least in developed markets, for renewables, where solar and wind are competitive in many markets around the world. But a lot of capital is waiting in the wings to invest in emerging technologies such as hydrogen and carbon capture and storage, which are proven technologies, but today they just aren't profitable. What's needed is more targeted support from governments to provide the incentives for investment, to drive innovation and to build the scale. And together these will drive down costs. That's what's happened with solar over the last 15 years or so, and it can happen with these new emerging technologies so long as the policies are right.
With collaborations so often spoken of in this industry, what do you think the secret to success is?
Well, first of all, the energy transition is going to need partnerships and collaboration between companies, between industries, and between governments. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. But as in any collaboration, there's got to be a common purpose, a goal, maybe even a specific project. Each party's got to bring something to achieve that goal, so there's a reason for the partnership. And I think the final point here is that any partnership or collaboration has to be led from the very top. If it's not led from the top, the idea will fritter away. If you have strong leadership and it's driven by leadership, there's a much better chance of success. Without it, collaboration is likely to fail.
Simon, how can technology and innovation help advance the global energy transition?
A lot of focus on technologies is around renewables, hydrogen and carbon capture and storage. And that's right, because these are going to be the backbone of the transition over the next decade or two, because they're proven technologies. Now, costs need to come down, as we've already discussed, but there's a host of technologies out there. We at Wood Mackenzie cover 232 low-carbon technologies which are at the research and development phase. Things like geothermal, small nuclear reactors, to name just two. Now, innovation and investment is critical for these to come through to commerciality. Now, lastly, artificial intelligence is going to be really important in accelerating the progress of these coming technologies.
Simon, ADIPEC is fast approaching. We're very much looking forward to seeing you on the ground again this year in Abu Dhabi. What would you say is the significance, the relevance of an event like ADIPEC when it comes to really turning words into action with regards to the global energy transition?
I've been coming to ADIPEC for several years, and it's evidently been the most important oil conference in the world. But it's hard to overstate the changes of the last few years as ADIPEC's embraced all aspects of the energy transition. Now, energy is no longer just about individual value chains such as oil or gas or power. Of course, companies need to understand the latest developments and strategic thinking in their own value chain, whether it's oil, power, or hydrogen. But in the transition, commodities are going to be increasingly connected. The price of gas sold in the US will affect the price of power in China, for example. In the transition, companies need to understand how other commodities influence their own. And all of the leaders in these commodities, the sectors and companies, they're all here, sharing ideas, making partnerships to invest and help accelerate the energy transition.
And there we sadly have to wrap things up, but I'll see you very soon in Abu Dhabi. Safe travels.
Thanks, Rebecca. It's been great being with you.